a couple of Israeli rockets hitting the two big Iranian terminals on Karg Island would shut down all of Iran's oil exports. The price of oil would go to $150 or $200 a barrel. Who is the largest importer of oil from the Persian Gulf? Of course, it's China. That would be a devastating blow for the Chinese economy. So if, God forbid, it came to a shooting war between Iran and Israel, China would be a major loser. Russia is certainly working with Iran producing drones. The Shahed drones that it uses to reasonably good effect in Iran and Ukraine probably cost about $10,000 to produce. They might be even cheaper. They're essentially a plywood frame with a moped motor and about $100 worth of electronics. They're very cheap to make. And the Russians use them, of course, very effectively, not because they're hard to shoot down. They're very easy to shoot down, but you could set 100 of them out at a time, swamp Ukrainian air defenses, and open the way for your more powerful ordnance, your ballistic missiles, to get through, which is, of course, what they did this week in 2 waves of strikes against Ukraine's energy infrastructure. But the Russians have been extremely cautious about giving Ukraine any of their better ordnance, the kind that might actually make a difference.
You mean giving Iran?
Iran, yes. Iran wants the S-400 system, which can track aircraft much more effectively and larger number and at greater distance than the S-300. We don't really know exactly how good the stuff is that Iran has, because these Russians have domestic versions and export versions, which are far less effective. So Iran has asked these things. Russia has not given them. One simple reason is that Russia has an urgent need for all of its best air defense systems to fight the Ukraine war. It doesn't have a great deal to spare, but it's also shown a great deal of willingness, as you know, to cooperate with the Israeli Air Force in Syria. Russia does not want to tangle with Israel. And
on the other hand, can I just interrupt you for 1 second? On the other hand, in November, the Iranians announced that they had finalized a deal to purchase advanced fighter craft from Russia. I'm just going over the list.
That was certainly a major factor. So Israel has a lot of cards to play here. It's
with Russia, with both of them.
With both of them. Russia does not want a fight with Israel in Syria. The fight between the Israeli Air Force and the Russians in Syria could go either way. I don't know enough about the military details to make a prediction, but the Russians, from what I can tell, do not wish to find out, which is why it's still the case that the Russians stand down when the Israeli Air Force attacks Iranian-linked targets in Syria. So despite the overt alliance of Russia and Iran, there's still military cooperation in Syria.